So unless you'd forgotten, a few months ago, the International Criminal Court released an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, Gallant, the Minister for Defense, as well as Hamas leaders as well. Of course, it was totally heinous, absurd. Even Joe Biden called it outrageous to make any moral equivalence, to penalize Israel for acting morally. The IDF is a shining light of morality and getting rid of evil groups and organizations and rescuing hostages. But they decided they're going to penalize Israel, this guy Khan, who is clearly an Israel hater and in no way an impartial judge. But now that Sinwar has been eliminated by the IDF, and he was one of the people that was prosecuted by the ICC as its fig leaf to hide their anti-Israel bias. But now that he's gone, the International Criminal Court stands exposed. And I want to read to you the words of the Wall Street Journal that says this. This is in their editorial board's opinion column, saying, after Sinwar has now been eliminated, the ICC stands exposed. They say the death of Hamas leader Sinwar has left many so-called moderates in grief. The Palestinian Liberation Organization's executive committee, led by President Mahmoud Abbas, offered condolences on Sinwar's martyrdom, calling the mastermind of the October 7th massacre a great national leader. Does anyone think this group, which the Biden administration would have rule post-war Gaza, would thwart terrorism? It's sick. Turkish President Erdogan also saluted Sinwar while receiving Iran's foreign minister and Hamas's top terrorists in suits for meetings. Another day in the life of a NATO ally. By the way, Turkey and their support for Hamas and Iran, it's getting deeply disturbing and something we really need to keep an eye on. Hardest hit by Sinwar's death, however, should be Karim Ahmed Khan, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court. Recall that Mr. Khan had claimed to be even-handed by seeking arrest warrants for a trio of Hamas leaders, Yahya Sinwar, Ismail Haniyeh, and Mohammed Deif, alongside Israel's Prime Minister and Defense Minister. The moral equivalence was offensive, but now that all three Hamas chiefs have been killed, thank God, Israel has stripped Mr. Khan of his fig leaf. He is prosecuting Israelis alone for their defensive war to free hostages and defeat the death squads who want to repeat their October 7th attack. There was never any chance of Sinwar standing trial in The Hague or being deterred by the prospect. While an ICC indictment means something to a democracy like Israel, it is meaningless to terrorists who have no respect for international opinion and already live in hiding to escape being killed as illegal enemy combatants under the traditional rules of war. Mr. Khan knows all of this. He rushed to seek arrest warrants before seriously investigating or even talking to the Israelis, as he had promised US senators he would, for its effect on Israel. When Mr. Khan was dangling his threat, the goal seemed to be to deter Israel from entering Hamas's stronghold of Rafah. After Israel went in, Mr. Khan made his announcement to try to stop the tanks. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu proved him wrong by safely evacuating Rafah civilians. Then Israel uncovered tunnels to Egypt, hostages, and now Sinwar in Rafah. The Hamas number one seems to have been flushed out of his tunnels by Israel's military pressure. Mr. Khan was wrong about Rafah, as were President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, who said she had studied the maps. They blocked arms to Israel over it, but Rafah's centrality to Israel's mission and to the chance of peace in post-war Gaza is now clear. Yet the White House is still protecting the ICC. Over Mr. Biden's objections, 42 House Democrats joined Republicans in early June to pass a bill sanctioning the ICC. The measure likely could pass the Senate, but Senators Chuck Schumer and Ben Cardin have done the White House's bidding and sat on it, despite pressure by Senator Jim Risch and other Republicans. Mr. Schumer promised bipartisan negotiations on an ICC sanctions bill. He never delivered, so the US does nothing as the ICC expands its jurisdiction and stands poised to take up Hamas's political struggle against Israel. Summarizes it perfectly, doesn't it? Look, as shocking as these things may be, at least the truth is becoming clearer for all of us to see. The truth of the ICC's clear bias and partiality. People think, oh, the International Criminal Court, surely that's going to be the epitome of impartiality. Well, it turns out it's not. So too, when people said, no, Rafah is going to be terrible, all eyes on Rafah. Well, look what Israel did. They said it was going to be a civilian bloodbath. Israel safely evacuates civilians. And Then what happens? They discover Sinwar there. Tunnels. Kill plenty of Hamas terrorists. It just shows that this pressure, whether it comes from the media, from politicians, from NGOs, from these courts, it's all nonsense. They're full of lies, deceit, bias, hatred. And therefore, Israel has to actually not just do what she needs to do, but start to become the moral leader in this whole global conversation, because we're not getting it from anywhere else. If you've made it so far in this video, I have a request for you. JTV has been having a really big impact in spreading the truth about Israel and creating positive associations with the Jewish people, Judaism, and Israel. We've really grown a lot, particularly in the last year, and we're having a really significant impact, both for Jews and non-Jews. But I really want to take JTV to the next level so we can start to compete with the other big online media beasts that are often peddling anti-Israel content. And the way we're going to do that is to scale even faster. So I'd love to build a team where we have other presenters doing shows like me, that start doing documentaries, supplementary content, animated content, etc., etc. And to do that, I'd like to build a bit of a team. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one fundraising day, just one, where we try and build up some funding in order to fund such a team. Now, to do that, it's going to obviously require people to get involved. And I'm wondering if you would consider, if you're watching JTV content and appreciate what we do and want to help partner with us in taking this to the next level and spreading the truth farther and wider than ever before, I wonder if you'd consider partnering with us simply by running a page, a mini page on the fundraiser that we do, where you just reach out to your contacts on that day that we choose to fundraise and see if they'll all chip in. If you'd be up for doing that, of which I would be so grateful, then please click on the Google form link in the video description of this video, where you can simply just put in a few contact details. It'll be a very small commitment, as I say, literally just one day that we'll all agree upon as a collective community. But the impact is going to be so big. There's such strength in numbers. If we all pull together and do this, we can take this to the next level. And as I say, all of us can partner together in bringing and spreading the truth to the whole world. So please do consider clicking on that link, filling in the form, and I'll be in touch very soon to talk about the next steps. Small commitment, but a big impact. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.